And welcome back to the Luke Martin Show. And last week, we were not able to get any senior interviews in just for some time reasons, but now we're back for some senior interviews. And here to begin with me, another senior interview. You know, we love football, but it's time to show around some other sports as well. And with me is a good friend of mine, but also a first-time tennis player this year, senior Alex Engelbert. Engelbert is in his first year ever playing tennis competitively. But Alex, thanks for taking the time. Before we talk about anything sports-wise, talk about your senior project and your experience here at East as a student.
Well, Luke, I think overall, ever since middle school, I've been looking forward to high school just for the new opportunities and responsibilities and things like that. As far as my senior project, you know, just like any other kid, I kind of procrastinate to the last minute. I'm just kind of still throwing around ideas. Obviously, I think I want to do something along the lines of sports. I was thinking, you know, I've played baseball a long time, done football a long time, but I think for my senior project, I was going to go along the lines of maybe teaching a youth tennis clinic, something like that. I mean, I think I know tennis. I've really learned a lot from tennis. I would have to say, of all the varsity sports, I've probably learned the most from tennis this year. So I think giving a sports clinic to young kids, not obviously too old, but more towards the middle school grade division, I think that would be a good senior project. And as far as how I've enjoyed my years here at East, from announcing football games to basketball games to playing, it's really been a great experience, and not quite over yet, but it's been exciting so far.
And, you know, many people that don't know, you did play football your first 3 years, and now you're making the transition to tennis like you've talked about. You've always played baseball. Talk about the transition from football to tennis. Was it really that hard? I mean, of course, you know, tennis isn't one of those really hard endurance sports, but it's still a pretty hard sport to play. Just talk about the comparisons between football and tennis and just how it's been the transition for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, Luke, one of the very first things I noticed about when I first went out for tennis is how much more laid back it is in football. You know, football, we're so accustomed to it being such a huge team sport, you know, a coach yelling at you, a big team atmosphere, and tennis is quite the opposite. The practices, you know, are much shorter. They're not as tough. The coach is way more laid back. There's more joking around. It's because it's an individual sport, it's a more of a kind of do-your-own-thing type of thing, much more different from football, not near as tough. During my matches, I hardly have to take a drink of water because it's just, physically-wise, it's just not that demanding. Time-wise, it's not near as big as a commitment. But as far as the overall enjoyable, you know, I've told many people, you know, in football, when you're my size, 5'10", 165, going up against guys 6'2", 270, you're going to lose most of the time. But so I would say tennis right now, I'm absolutely having a ball. I'm enjoying this more than any other sport that I've played in a while.
And do you think that, you know, you talked about not being as physical demanding, but don't you think playing football also sort of helped you prepare?
Absolutely. I think the many years of weightlifting, football, the footwork drills we've done, I think that has prepared me immensely for tennis. I go to the tennis team after being probably low man on the totem pole on football, obviously, but on the tennis team I'm the strongest, most physically fit. I wouldn't go quite as far as to say I'm the best overall athlete, but I rank up there. So I think those years of football helped me immensely for tennis and any other sport I wish to pursue.
And now you got the big East Invite this weekend, Saturday. Your season has gone pretty well so far. I think you've only lost one match, and that was the North match.
We dropped 2 over the weekend, Shelbyville tournament to Heritage Christian and Bloomington South.
So, I mean, but overall, for your first year ever playing tennis, it's been pretty good for you. So, going to the East Invite this week, you also had the big match against Greensburg this week. But overall, what are your expectations for you? Obviously, you want to win, but in your first year, did you think before the season even started that you'd be this good so quickly?
I'll be honest, Luke, when I first had the notion of going out for tennis, I thought at the best I would be a senior on JV, playing just 8-game pro sets. And you know what? I was absolutely 100% content with that. Because, man, I was just a kid. I just wanted to play the game. But now that I've played on the varsity for as long as I have, probably going to let her, that just is in my wildest dreams, absolutely surpassed my expectations.
Well, no doubt. Baseball season's right around the corner, so I'm sure you're definitely looking for baseball. Looking forward to baseball.
I'll tell you what, the baseball team, Luke, unlike any sport here at school, it is sometimes it can be quite a circus. It's full of characters. No doubt it certainly hasn't been boring. We haven't been the most successful over my 4 years here, but certainly hasn't been a dull moment. I hope all the coaches, I hope we really get it together this year.
And there's no doubt. I've been around the team for only 1 year, and there's no doubt about it. There's just always something going on with East baseball, but it's a lot of exciting. So no doubt about it. Later on down the line, we're going to talk about baseball with Alex Engelbert here. So Alex, I just want to thank you for your time. It's been a great pleasure. I'm really glad you were able to do this interview today. And for Alex Engelbert, I'm Luke Martin. We'll be back here with more on the Luke Martin Show as I talk with East running back Damon Meggerly.